one of the things on the docket today, we all happen to have this come across our purview. Let's see.
My son had already told me, so I was a little devastated.
Tragedy here in South Shore. Detectives snapping photos of the crime scene. The shooting happening just before 4 p.m. inside Tatanisha Jackson's home in the 6800 block of South Cornell.
And there's M1 with a black bulletproof vest, as described by witness, with shorts and flip-flops on. You don't know which direction he ran in.
Police say Jackson was approached by a 17-year-old who shot her 4 times in the head. A gun was recovered at the scene. She was pronounced dead at the University of Chicago Hospital. What are your memories of her? Describe it for me. I know
she was kind of a short lady. She used to be on the back on her phone all the time, sitting on the back porch. Just being nice.
Married to the love of her life for 21 years and the mother of 3 sons. Loved ones tell me Jackson was always the life of the party. Most notable, whenever she left your company, her token phrase, "I love you."
When I realized it was the lady that I talked to sometimes, you know, it was kind of sad.
Neighbors told police the gunman kicked in Jackson's back door. Detectives were seen crossing Stony Island, hunting down surveillance video from nearby businesses. And following the shooting, police tell us that the gunman ran out of the home in an unknown direction. Police are still working to track him down. This laser downtown. Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Fox 32 Chicago. So we all happen to have this come across our. Oh, real quick, I got to clarify because the person who the story was about that I was just talking about just texted me and clarified. She said that she had lost. She wasn't in the conversation, the 30-minute conversation that they had. She didn't get that he was showing interest in her, like genuine long-term interest. So on top of that, it's two things.
So why you say about him leaving a voicemail instead of being like that?
It was both. It was both. I forgot that detail.
It is what it is, man. Hopefully y'all find love somewhere else.
But yeah, so in Chicago, guy, what did it say? Second. Shot his mom in the head. A 17-year-old shot his mom in the head. What, 4 times?
Yeah, it's crazy work.
What are your thoughts, man?
Like Ma had said, though, I think this was during the pre-conversation before we even went live, is that the boy's supposed to be mental. Am I right?
Yeah,
he's
that's
supposed
what they
to
said.
be on some pills or something and then take his medication.
Yeah, then take his medication.
And this is the problem that I think, and he's supposed to have been on house arrest.
And he was on house arrest, too.
This is the problem that I have with the judicial system, especially pertaining to juvenile kids. It's like they playing with the kids because these kids is really out here be doing some bad shit.
But I think they play with everybody, though. Because we try to go by the law and we try to do by the law. And sometimes it works because, you know, sometimes people don't come out on dummy. I'm tired to just jump in like that. But then sometimes it don't work with stuff like this. He was on house arrest and he still did what he did.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't like when it comes to the kids, though, it seems as if that they extend these guys so much grace, so much, you know, because they don't want to, seems like they don't really want to deal with them. So it's like, well, we're going to keep sending them back home. You know, if you have a abuse problem, like a child is a domestic abuse or domestic at home with your mom or with your dad or whatever, and you know you're fighting your parents or stuff where you're saying that, hey, I'm gonna kill my parent, quote unquote. You know what I mean? I kill my parent or whatever. Why would you send that child back to the crib? He's making the threat. Now, if you're making that type of threat, that should be, to me, that should be serious, because if that was towards the president, it would be a problem. If that was towards a judge, it'd be a problem. You couldn't say that to a cop without probably getting popped. You see what I'm saying? So why is it that it's okay because it's just their parents that you send that child back home to their mom or to their dad, right? And then situations like this happen, and it was like, I'm pretty sure the young man already has a record, right? He's probably been in and out of the house. So, you know, and I know, you know, different situations that I've heard of that this happens all the time where people are sending, well, the judicial system is sending these kids back home. And these little motherfuckers is problems.
Yeah. But also at the thing, too, you got to know your kid. Like, it's like I was just saying before the pre-conversation, too. We try to handle everything with kid gloves. Everything can't be kid gloves. We got to get, like, some shit is, like, demands your attention. Like, I know some things you can just fall back on, like, let it play like it play. But then it's like you got to know the difference between some things need your immediate attention right now.
Right, but when it comes to handling your kids, right, you can handle your kids a certain type of way. But then when the law steps in and make sure, and they say, well, even if you try to, what they call a lockout, right, or you try to emancipate your child or whatever, they're going to charge you with neglect for that child. Like, even if you know this child, you might have other kids in the crib, right, and you know this one's going to be a kind of detriment to the family. Yeah. So I don't want to even be bothered with this one.
Yeah, I think he need to stay in there.
Right. And then, but they're gonna bring him back to the crib and say, well, if you don't take him under your roof, then you're gonna be charged with neglect. And this is the problem with the judicial system to me. It's like you already got a little criminal in the making, clearly, right? There's a little criminal in the making, and he goes and he kills his mother. You know, people are really, this isn't just, you know, that woman issue. He's like, you have all these type of problems, you know, with the juvenile system. And, you know, I don't think that they're giving the parents even a fair shake. Because some of these kids, it's not how they was raised. Or some of these kids are just fucking bunkers. You know, they doing all these drugs. You know, they're doing drugs. They popping pills. They snorting. They smoking all the weed and stuff. They just doing too much. And then you expect that the parents to come home and, like, deal with this shit.
The one thing I think about when you say you got to know your kids is cultivate. What's going on? What's going on?
Cultivate. What's going on? Cultivate. What's happening?
Cultivate.
What's happening?
Kings. We was kings.
One thing, the first thing that comes to mind when we say you got to know your kids or you got to know your spouse or you got to know your whatever is that show Snapped.
Yeah.
Okay, so how in what instances can we apply that? Because I don't know the 17-year-old's history, and they don't have him in custody right now because he ran.
Mm-hmm. But he in custody. He walked and turned himself in. He walked in the police station and turned his own stuff in.
See, nigga snapped out all of a sudden. Like, you know what I'm saying? They snap, and then they snap out like, ooh, what the fuck I do?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like how on both ends of the spectrum. How do we know that this is a case of snapped, or if this is a case of premeditated? How will we?
Crazy.
How, you know what I'm saying? So
he's on the
meds.
He's on the meds or didn't take the meds, and that's
what they said. He didn't take it.
He didn't take it, and that's one of the things about black people. I feel like if your kid is, you know, really a handful, you know, I just want to put him as a handful. If your kid is really stirring up, you know, problems or whatever, and sometimes we don't like we were talking about seeing a psychologist, you know, just to talk, you know, just have a conversation with psychologists and stuff to, you know, get over the past trauma. And I think, you know, that kind of gives us a bad eye, you know, a family a bad eye. And I think as well as, like, sometimes you got a child that something might be mentally wrong with them, right? There's cases, you know, just cases upon cases where these kids are really just snapping off. And I'm the type of person, if you said that shit, you know what I'm saying? You mean that shit, right? You don't, because growing up, I could never fathom, you know, as much as my mother probably ever made me mad, or my dad ever made me mad, I never in a million years would think, oh, I'm going to kill. Like, bro, ain't no response. Ain't no coming back to life. No. Kill is serious. It's very hard to create life, and it's very easy to destroy it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think these kids have a lack of, and these little niggas are sociopaths, okay? They have a real, you know, a lot of them, they character is, you know, real friendly and shit, but then it's another side of them. It's a dark side of them.
You don't play with them.
Don't play, right? Because they
do not play with
them. They're running rapid through the city.
You treat them worse than you treat adults.
Yeah,
you don't play with them when it comes.
Don't play with these kids. That's why, like, when it comes to kids, like, you know, these young teenagers and stuff like that,
I don't play.
You know, I keep it respectful. Move the fuck out of my way, though.
Yeah, I don't play. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I do not play with now. I look at it like this. I got a teenage boy, and he don't play. He will play with his mama. He will play with his grandma. He play with his granddaddy. He don't play with me. So you thinking if I don't let my own son play with me, you think I'm gonna let you play with me?
Yeah.
And then what I meant by when I said know your kid, if your kid, they had to get your permission for your kid to come on house arrest and come to your crib.
No.
Huh?
No.
They didn't?
No.
Oh, that's what
you ain't got
my whole thing.
You don't have a choice.
Oh, they coming?
They coming. That's
Okay,
the,
okay.
you don't have
No,
a choice.
It take me away then. But I had to say it was going out the window then. I can't notice mine.
It would have to
I'm with you every day. I agree with you every day.
They would have to have. They would have to have.
And spaces.
They would have to have somebody that the parent appointed guardian or something over,
Okay,
right?
okay.
But if don't nobody else want to take them,
You got to take
you got to take them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, shit, they can only be up in the little what we used to call it back in the day, the Audi home.
Yeah.
You only be in that bitch about 30 days.
You could tell we old school. This nigga said Audi home, and I know exactly what he's talking about.
Right.
You know what he's talking about?
No.
See what I'm saying? We can tell we some old heads, bro.
Well,
He say the Audi home.
They only keep you about 30 days and you back at the crib.
Huh?
Yeah, you got. Well, that's the mental. No, that's the mental joint.
Audi home is like for all bag kids.
Yeah,
They got
for the
like,
all bag
It's like a
kid.
big ass room with a whole bunch of bump beds.
They got one out there like juvenile detention center.
Okay, now I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we used to call it the Audi home.
It's a junior juvenile detention center.
Yeah. And they got one out west, and then I know there's one in St. Charles. That's what the one in St. Charles is where all basically the gangs started from. Like the gangs that you have now that's prevalent in Chicago. If you look at the history, a lot of that shit started in there. You know, so but yeah, Hargrove and River Edge and shit like that. Those are children's mental institution.
Let's see. Cultivate said he dodged a bullet with her. I'm not sure what you mean. Yo, 2K, what's good, bro? What's good?
2K, what's going on?
Be Humble said, J True, but sometimes as parents, they may view having a child diagnosed with mental illness as a reflection on them. Sometimes like something may be wrong with the parent.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Yeah, and I think there's, you always in every single situation, you have your anecdotal situation. Like, for instance, and if you have 10 kids, right? I like to use the rule of 10. I'd like to use that as an example. That's yeah.
A lot of bread. You got 10 kids.
Cam Newton.
Oh man,
Tyreek Hill.
Shit, Chad Johnson.
But yeah, you had 10 kids. It's bound to be one of them. Not bound to be. There's a high chance that one of them is going to be that child that causes the confusion in the family. So it's like, okay, so how do we even approach this from a preventative standpoint? Because the child was 17. There's so many different angles you can go with this, man.
Yeah, it is.
So many different angles because that's wild. 4 times?
Yeah, he was.
That means if he shot her 4 times in the head, he stood over her.
Yeah.
And you know that it's a different kind of different kind of person. You stand over somebody and shoot him.
Cultivate, you crazy. She said, hey, Chili Willy over there in the back. You missed our episode with me and him, Cultivate. We had it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now. But yeah, man, this is absolutely wild. And this is definitely one of those stories. I was like, okay, you shot her once, okay, and then ran. But 4 times, you're not going to shoot somebody 4 times in the head before they hit the ground.
Hey, and guess what? That's why I say he stood over her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You stood over somebody, that means that's a different type of sociopath. You stand over somebody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You run. You walked up on them and stood over them. That's a different type. And he did this in front of his little brother and the father.
These people be off drugs. They be off all types of shit, man. What she say, man? What she say?
She said I butchered the story, which I did.
Well, come in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
You know you can call in because you got his and you can tell the whole story.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, Spaces is over. We're gonna go with Spaces
story. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, you can call. Oh, let me connect my phone. You don't have to say your name.
Yeah, you
don't
can call.
say your name.
You can call. You can tell the whole story.
But back to the
and I can take my comments. What I said, my harsh comments, I can take them right back, and I will apologize.
No, that should still stand for a situation like that.
Yeah, a situation like that, but not to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can call in if you want, and your name won't be shown or anything. You just be on my phone and
man, don't let me recognize a voice. No, I'm just
no.
But y'all good on that story?
Yeah, man. It's just
it's unfortunate, but it's a lot of situations like that, man, where it's not only for a parent, it's not only a battle for them with their child, because obviously you probably more than likely you love your child, but it's a battle between you, your child, and the judicial system. And, you know, the judicial system, they're going to keep giving them a slap on the wrist. They trying to set them up. So when they really go do something stupid, something, you know, whatever, it's like, okay, we got a whole rap sheet of you nigga doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? You've been doing this since you was little. Yeah. And then, you know, this is how they get you with the felonies and so on and so forth. So it is unfortunate. I ride my bike through there every so often. So
Hey, and I want y'all to remember this, too. Go back, reminisce. Because every day, a couple pars go, say, oh, yeah, this one go ahead and let Maul cook because he be thinking. But now, Jerry, they come on here because he be on the bike and he be thinking a lot, too, now. That bike to have you thinking way more than what you normally think about.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's a think tank.
Mind,
for real.
Yeah, it clears the mind of, you know.
It's very therapeutic. Like, you know, you see what I was talking about all these times when I used to cut. It's like, I would recommend you get you a bike and just go out there, even if you don't by yourself, and ride around the block for like 2 or 3 times and see how much clearer you be, how much more fresher. It just does something to you. Like,
and for me, it has me real alert.
Yes.
This nigga better not hit me. You know what I'm saying? That's
we drive trucks. Don't it make your senses in the truck go up a little bit more, too?
Yeah, I'm always paying it. Or even in the personal car. Because when I see somebody riding a bike, I go ahead and be like, you know what? I know how it is riding a bike.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Driving the truck is like, you know, things that I've learned driving the truck is like, okay, I'll extend the courtesy to the truck driver or the bike rider because I know how it is being one of those guys.
And guess what you do? You could be driving down the street and you could be like, I passed a bike. I wonder what he's doing. You make sure before you make a right turn and turn in front of him, you let him go past you because you've been on a bike too. So you know exactly what it is. Yeah. It just heightens everything about your day.
Yeah, city bike riding. You know, I was thinking about this.
DX, PH, what's going on, brother?
What's up, bro?
I was thinking about this, and I was like, man, city bike riding is just overall just dangerous, right? Yeah. And because I do a mix of riding in the street. I normally ride in the street as much as I can, but I'll hit the sidewalks if it, you know. I try not to stop. I want to keep moving. Yeah. So I will hit the sidewalks or whatever. But I was just thinking, like, okay, in the suburbs, you know, traffic, you probably got basically straight line traffic. People, if you're on the main road or something like that. But in the city, you got niggas just on their phones, not paying no attention.
Facts, I told you that.
You got just niggas, you know what I'm saying? They don't stop at no stop signs. Sometimes I'm that nigga, you know.
Bro, driving and riding your bike, you see how many people really drive damn near 600-700 feet without even looking up. Yeah. You really see this in real time when you out here on your bike. It really opened my eyes about that too.
Yeah, no, the sidewalk is really a kind of second option thing. So if it's some cars and I know they coming real fast, I'm not finna sit up there and wait for these niggas to hit me. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the sidewalk, let them go past, and normally it's probably no pedestrians when I do use the sidewalk, and then I get back in the road. But I really, you know, for me, it's just about being alert and still coming home to my family.
Yes, you know, facts.
Yeah, man. So I looked this up because I was curious because it said on the video that the kid was 17. Yeah. But I typed in what age are you considered an adult in Illinois. I had to clarify that because that can vary from state to state. Mm-hmm. And it's 18. 18. Because I always have this question in my head. It's like, at what point? How do I say it? Is there a point where people say no, but I think there is. But is there a point where you just say, you know what, the state can have you to your kid?
Yeah, when it ain't no, just ain't no getting through. Like, you know, of course, sometimes you gotta love, even if it's your child, you gotta love people from afar.
From a distance,
you know what I mean? To me, it's a time where you know better, right? Now, I don't know if I was advanced or something, but at 12, 13 years old, I knew better. There's a lot of things I didn't know. There's things that I don't know now, but I knew the basic shit that I shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? I knew I didn't want to put my mom or my family into some type of predicament on my behalf. There was a sense of fear, a natural fear that I had getting my mother in trouble, right? That's my parent.
Beat your ass.
Or not even me getting my ass. Well, I didn't want to see anything happen to my mother. Because my mother and my father, they were providers for me, so I didn't want to see anything happen. I didn't want to have to go live with nobody else. I didn't want to go out, you know. I knew that, okay, I'm supposed to be in the house. You know, it ain't really shit happening if I'm 13, 14 years old in the street. Ain't nothing happening. And it's 12 o'clock at night. What I'm out there this late for. So I know I'm not going to be doing drugs and drinking and so on and so forth, right? I knew the type of people I should be hanging around. You know, of course, did we get into, you know, minor mischief as youth? Sure we did. But, you know, it was nothing that ever brought like a negative, put a negative stain on my family. And so that's how I look at it. And I think at a certain point, when your child is really, he's to the point or she's to the point where they're basically bringing harm to the family and you got other kids there, then yeah, I don't give a fuck, boy, I cut you loose. You see what I'm saying? I'm not finna sit up there and hold on to some shit that, you know, not really, you know, it's not gonna, well, it's just basically, again, a detriment to the family. They're not gonna, they can bring harm to this family, right? They out there, if they're in the gang, right? You want to be in the gang, you go out there with gang. You see what I'm saying? But you're not finna bring that shit into my house. I don't give a fuck how you slice it. I don't care if the judicial system is saying they got to do that. No, you take your ass back outside. Now, as long as you under my roof, right, you're going to follow these rules. And that's just the way it is. That's the way I was raised. You see what I'm saying? I still have respect for my mother you know, right now to today because of how I was raised. And, you know, again, you want to go outside, you want to be bad, you want to, you know, run these streets. Well, cool. I'll sign you over. You can go run the motherfucking streets. But what you won't do is bring harm to this family.
But also, too, I will piggyback off you said. Didn't your mother used to always say a lot of times, like, put that in your head, like, don't be out here embarrassing me. Yeah. You know better than doing this. Don't be embarrassing me. And that's what kind of like, I have a teenage son now, so he's out with his friends and all that stuff, and I give him the same spiel, the same speech every time. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what you don't be supposed to be doing. Don't let me get a phone call. Don't let your mother get a phone call. Don't be out here embarrassing us. You know we taught you better than that. Don't do that. And it's not that, oh, I think my son is incompetent. No, I'm just putting that in his head because I want that to be some of the last things. So he'll know if his friends say do something stupid, but my pop said, that's stupid shit. I can't do that. I ain't finna embarrass the family. We way better than that. You pull back. So if you keep saying that to your kids every day, you think they're not listening. Yes, they are. They listen to every fucking thing you say. You think they don't? Yes, they do.
Real quick. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, I'm finished.
No, my mom would just basically say, like, you know, I like, even when I would get, you know, corporal punishment, you know, get my ass beat.
Corporal punishment?
Yeah, that's what it's called, corporal punishment, you know, for these, you know, these uppity niggas in it.
Hey,
so
corporal punishment is a great way to say I got my ass whooped.
Yeah, when I would get my ass whooped. But my mother was simply saying, y'all probably heard it, like, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Even though this ass whooping hurt, right? So, because you don't really understand it, right? But even though this ass whooping hurting, I love you. The streets don't love you.
That's a fact.
Right? And the ass whooping the streets going to give you is going to be way worse than this.
That's a fact.
They don't love you. It's nothing out of love.
That's a fact.
So, and I took that to heart.
I'll be sitting there crying like, no, you, in my head thinking, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And that beating
my mama give you some details after I get the ass whooping, come and give me a hug.
Kiss. That's
psychological. That's psychological drama, man. You know, that's psychological.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part. Like,
but I bet you,
with a hug.
I wake up as an adult. No, mama, no.
Hey, but I bet you to this day, you love your mama to death.
Oh, absolutely,
1,000%.
man.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But I absolutely think that there's a point where you give up and say, like, no, you can't come in here anymore. Absolutely. Especially, like, I would wager that this situation is not an isolated situation. I would wager that there's been something in the past.
Yeah, he built up to this.
Solidified, yeah, something solidified in the past that people should have taken seriously, but they didn't. And unfortunately, these are the results. But absolutely, there's a point where you give up on your kids, and it's just like Jay every day said. If I have 3 kids and one of the kids is putting the other 2 in danger, or all of us, the other 2 kids, me and my wife, in danger because of their choices in the streets, and it's bleeding over into the household. Absolutely, you got to get out. Absolutely, you got to figure something else out, because my safety and my peace matters more than you wanting to have fun and make bad decisions. So, absolutely.
I'm gonna sleep good at night. Give me all the fries you can give me.
I bet you Spaces over there like, where did it come from?
Yeah.
Oh my God, brother. Lord have mercy, man. God, Lee.